Hello, am I here?
You are here. Hello.
Is this happening? Are we live?
We are live.
Okay, I'll try not to say anything, illegal.
Yeah, don't get me canceled. I have a sterling reputation that I'm trying to uphold.
No,
okay?
I would never. But well, I think
appreciate it.
between the two of us, what could go wrong?
Oh yeah, for sure. Though you have you been canceled over anything recently? I feel like things have been going pretty good, you know?
Yeah, it's kind of just like it's kind of slowed to just a constant trickle of miscellaneous outrage. It's lacked any kind of focus. So I guess that's an improvement.
Yeah, I mean, eventually it bleeds together and becomes so indistinct that you don't actually feel bad about it, because whenever you see people talking shit about you, it's stuff you've already addressed directly, and it just all turns into meaningless conjecture.
Yeah, it's simply the experience of being online.
Which is preferable to actually feeling bad about what people are mad at you over. Anyway,
100%.
we both circle jerk about being canceled enough, I think. How have you been today?
It's true. I've been fine. I've been, as good as I get lately, which, let's not even get into it. How are your nuggies?
They were great. Here, I'll tell you the secret, okay? In case you were looking for it.
I am.
Okay, so...
Always looking for nuggie secrets.
Good. Should be. Most nuggies people eat, absolute dog shit, okay? They're oily and disgusting. You gotta get them Tyson air-fried nuggies, okay? Because they're like beautiful canvases upon which you can paint any flavor profile. They're amazing.
Okay, I'm convinced. I actually just assumed. It was bold of me to assume. I assumed these were McDonald's nuggies because when I say nuggies, I usually mean McDonald's ones, but like Tyson ones. So wait, how do you cook them? Do you microwave them, or is there a toaster oven?
I just put them in the oven for a bit.
Okay, the oven. Yeah, see, I feel an oven is a microwave will never really.
Oh no, you
produce
need the
satisfying nuggies. Yeah.
crisp, yeah. And my favorite sauce, because it's healthy and delicious, is mixing Greek yogurt with hot sauce. Oh my god, it is so fucking good. It is amazing. And
Greek yogurt and hot sauce.
Try it. You have to try it sometime. It's not some bullshit voodoo healthy vegan kale smoothie shit. It's actually really, really good.
I mean, it's kind of like a spicy mayonnaise.
Yeah, but like 1/80th the calories, and you can just dump it on there without feeling sick.
Yeah, because it's interesting. It's usually dairy kind of cools the spice sensation because of I guess it's the fat. Like you drink milk right after you eat ghost peppers or whatever.
Yeah, it definitely helps. It balances out too. And all the creamy. Look, all I'm saying is you just try it once. You can get back to me, cancel, make a video, whatever. I'm just saying try it sometime. I'll hear the results on one of those what is it? Stardew Valley live streams.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I usually end up, you play Stardew Valley, it just puts you in a mental state where nuggies end up happening.
Oh yeah, for sure. I can't play those games for the life of me though.
Oh yeah.
Really? Why not?
Yeah, they're not, I don't know, gritty and masculine enough for me. I don't fucking know.
You need grit.
Yeah.
You need Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah.
Grit. Yeah, that's...
Like Luigi's... No, exactly. Like Luigi's Mansion. People are dying out here.
You call yourself a leftist, and yet you're in a mansion. Interesting.
Yeah, this is Hassan's mansion. We're looting the place. We're bringing it back to the people.
Okay, I'll accept that.
Oh, wait, I actually meant to ask you this. How did it feel coming out with the Envy video immediately before the Hassan Mansion thing, and then it getting referenced in relation to that, and Hassan going over it on stream? Like, that felt so incredibly well-timed. Did you inform his purchasing decision? Did you know?
No, I think what you're describing is simply the sensation of being correct, which I'm very used to by now.
Yeah, but so quickly though. So rarely are we correct that quickly.
That's true. It does help when it happens when it's like a quick turnaround.
Oh, it was fucking wild. Well, it was good to have some academic literature to cite, when people were getting mad over that. The transcript of your video.
Yeah, well, it's I mean, it's such a common thing on social. Like, I don't know. I think something like that happens once every couple weeks. I mean, when there was a reason why this video was so long. As I was working on it, I kept running into more and more examples until I was slowly like, oh my god, I think I've just I think I've just like drilled into the core of human nature here.
Yeah, it kind of sucks. Do you plan on buying a big
Yeah.
house anytime soon and making people really mad with it?
Well, I kind of already did that, but people don't know about it, and also it's kind of like not the kind of house that you would get as mad about it because I don't live in LA and I don't, I have like an old Victorian in Baltimore. It's kind of like I don't know, it's like a little bit better optics.
Oh, people get way more angry when it's in San Francisco, Seattle,
Yeah.
Portland, New York, or Los Angeles, because those are the cities everyone else wants to move to. So when they see you buy the house, they get really, really jealous.
Well, yeah. So I think that's exactly right. Like no, like most people don't aren't like green-eyed over a Baltimore row house, you know?
It's a beautiful city. It's actually the only East
It
Coast
is.
city I've been to besides DC.
I actually like Baltimore a lot. But just don't tell anyone that it's good because I feel like its goodness is like it's actually kind of helped by the perception that it sucks.
Yeah, they'll call you privileged about it too. You know?
Yeah.
Because it
Oh
has
yeah.
such severe socioeconomic and racial problems. So if you say it's good, it's because
Yeah.
you're one of the bougie, sophisticates watching from the hilled mansions down
Oh,
upon
that's
the
true.
suffering
I
poor.
mean that is true. Like it's a city that has like a pretty severe history of like official racial housing discrimination. So I mean on some level that's true. Um, I guess, but I don't know. People who live in Baltimore generally don't hate it. I don't know. I feel like the perspective that it's like the worst city in the United States is it's more of an outsider perspective. I don't know.
It's a city with pride.
Yeah, well, there's like actually kind of a little bit of irony because like the city's like it's called Charm City. All the benches in the city have the slogan "the greatest city in America" on them, which I think is like
That's really
to me
bold.
it's funny because of its boldness and it's I don't know. There's almost like no like what's like it would be kind of even if New York City was to call itself that, it would be annoying, right? But when Baltimore does it, it's charming because I guess
It's
in part because we know that it's not the greatest.
right. Well, people don't
So
resent Baltimore the way people resent New
yeah,
York. I mean, people get angry at New York and its
exactly.
pretensions.
Exactly. That's why Baltimore again is in a way a safer option from the envy prevention perspective. It would be like if Cleveland called itself the Athens of America. Like
Yeah,
the
or so
pretentiousness becomes there's something charming about the pretentiousness.
it's to let you visit. You see like the sign when you enter through the highway or something. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
it's so cute. They think that. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
No, it's charming.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, speaking of bias, am I to take it from your presence here, but not from the PCRF stream that you hate Arab people?
Wait, which stream?
The last charity stream that I did was for Palestinian relief. But it was a political
Oh,
statement you were making, I assume.
no, I think I was just working on the video.
Which video would that have been? Would that have been Envy? How long ago
It
did
was
chat? When did
envy.
that happen?
I mean, I was working on that video for like a year, for half a year or so.
That is wild. That is so
Yeah.
alien to me, considering how I make my content.
Yeah, no, it's that video especially would took fucking forever. I'm trying to like tone it down because it's gotten, I don't know, video essays have kind of become this like bloated, like over it's gotten out of control, you know? Like so I think it does kind of need to be the excesses need to be reined in of the entire genre.
Maybe. I think, I swore I wouldn't simp. I think that the thing that makes your videos unique is it really doesn't feel like there's any fat. I mean, there are a lot of, like,
I'm glad you think so. Yeah.
5-hour video essays, where, I mean, they're just loaded
Oh
with
God, yeah.
examples and convincing arguments, but it's just, it's like a script with no editor. But every time your videos come out, I feel like, I don't know, they stand almost as like a peerless engagement with whatever subject you're touching on, you know?
Well, thank you. Yeah, that's that's the hope. I think. I mean, I ended up cutting like in editing. I cut like 20 minutes out of Envy, so it was going to be even worse. But I think that when you cut 20 minutes out, then it's actually perfect because I don't know. I'm gonna post a Patreon like as a reward or whatever the cut stuff. But I do think from the perspective of that video, like I was correct to cut it.
What was the? Do you mind me asking what the cut content contained, more or less?
Gosh, let's see if I can even remember. It was a few different things. It was okay. I spent a lot more time talking about envy within the trans community, but I cut it for a few reasons. One, I felt like the way I wrote it was it was so like nervous and tentative, and I was like, well, look, if you're not gonna just say what you want to say, then don't say it, you know. I mean, I was like super anxious about discussing that whole thing, and I ended up deciding like, look, I'm not even the right person to be having this conversation. Like, it's just like some of the things that I wrote just shouldn't be coming out of my mouth. It's not helpful.
Is there a trans woman
So
more envied than you? Feels like in the online space, you're the go-to.
that might be true in a certain online space. I don't, I mean, there's certainly trans women who I envy, but I don't think they're as known in this particular space. Like I mean, I actually kind of discussed this. I was going to discuss this in the video, but I decided not to. I mean, there's a trans woman on Instagram. I won't say who she is, but she's a fashion model. And like, she sort of has like a little bit enough in common with my aesthetic that she sort of looks like me if I was like 10 times hotter, 20 pounds thinner. And like, and like, I definitely have like feelings about it. But I mean, she's actually like, I guess for me and envying other women, I mean, because I'm attracted, I'm gay. I'm attracted to women, and
I
that sort of
recall the concern, yes, with
yeah.
the attraction desire dynamic.
But it actually, I think, helps me to be attracted to women, to not envy women so much, because it's like, well, I'm just gonna, you know, on the one hand, I'm a little bit mad at you for being this much better than me, but on the other hand, I mean, I'm still gonna like looking at you.
Well, you know, being able to make nice video essays is a very attractive characteristic these days. So, in that respect, you may very well be peerless in your dating groups. You know, that's something nobody can take from you.
Hasn't been helping me so far. The video essayist turns out to be like less of a Tinder pull than you might think.
Oh, wait, really? I'm sorry, you don't throw that shit front and center on Tinder? What are you even doing over there? Putting your
well,
height up? What's more important?
I guess video essayists. I don't know. I have no sense. I just assumed that's kind of a cringe thing to be, but maybe it's actually not. I don't know. I have no sense for like socializing post-COVID.
No, it's bold. I think these days it's bold and innovative, you know, that you would own the cringe like that.
That I would own the cringe. I don't know. I guess I usually try to wait till like a second date before the cringe owning gets that aggressive.
Yeah, it's I'm really doing it badly, by the way. So maybe I'm not the best person to say. Because I don't have I don't have no job listed on Tinder because I think that suggests to some people that I'm unemployed.
Yes, it would.
Yeah, which means less eating out food, which I like doing.
True.
But I also can't say live streamer because I'm not that ready to die. So I just I work at YouTube, and I quietly hope that people assume I'm like a software engineer. And,
oh, that's really good.
and
Yeah.
hope they don't ask me, you know?
Oh, that's kind of like yeah, that's kind of like if I'm in the back of a cab or something and the driver asks me like what it was, so what do you do? I'm like, I work in media, or I say some vague thing like that in a desperate attempt to hope to explain. I talk about being a transsexual on the internet, and like because I don't want to, I don't want to explain myself.
Right. Oh God, yeah. When they ask invasive questions, well, I mean, I guess it's not invasive. You'd expect to ask that, right? It's considered a sign of
Yeah, no,
politeness
it's
to
normal.
ask. Yeah, yeah. It's like
In America, anyway, it's normal.
I do media. I make content. I've said before, like I cover the news, and they're like, "Oh, on what channel?" Meaning like a TV channel.
Oh,
I have to be like, it's. I hate it.
Yeah, I see. I need to stop blurting out YouTuber when people ask me what I do, because I'm actually a really bad liar. So it tends to come out, and then people immediately ask, "Oh, what's your channel? What's it about?" And they get out their phone, they want to look it up, and I'm immediately like, "Fuck, I can't like say what this is about without like I've already said too much, you
Oh,
know."
if anyone ever pulled up my content in front of me and they weren't already my best friend, then I would have to leave immediately. I could, like, they open the channel, the
Yeah.
header video plays, my theme song blares, I'm screaming into the microphone. I'm not standing there for that.
No, no, no. I'll die of shame.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
goodbye.
I can't be in the room. I can't be in the room if someone's watching my content. Absolutely
Uh,
not.
I wonder if actors feel that way. When
Yeah,
their
well, I feel like
scenes
they
come
go to
out.
the premiere, but I would imagine that would be agony.
Yeah, at least on some level, right? I mean, they have to all be some kind of narcissist, but I feel like on
Well, yeah.
some
I mean,
human level.
I feel like because actors also I don't know, YouTubers we have control of, we get to choose our angles and things like that. But if you're, I don't know, whenever I'm watching a movie, big movies, like I'm always noticing like, wow, there's a lot of like pores on screen. If I was the actor, I'd be like, I don't know, I
How
don't
do
look
you
good from
even
this
see
angle, and like,
that?
yeah, like
I
you're giving so much control to another director.
I had never noticed that. How do you I guess I mean that would be like a what you look for in your own mirror thing, right?
I guess so, but now I'm just a poor noticer.
Well, right, but doesn't that isn't that like reflected insecurity a bit? Like if you notice that in yourself, it's why like
Yeah.
yeah, like short people are always commenting on other people's height and stuff like that.
Yeah, I guess that's true, is that I first noticed it in myself, and then I started noticing it in other people, and now, wow, this has become therapy.
It's probably not good. The only thing I notice is thin beards. That shit always gets me.
Thin
Because
beards.
when I was
But you don't
growing
have
up,
a thin beard.
when I was growing up,
Oh, but you're yeah.
when I was in high school, I started growing facial hair really early. I had to shave regularly when I was 13, 14. And
Mm.
at first, this is like wispy, like just long peach fuzz, but I'm proud, so I keep it. And up until I was around 18, I could never grow a thick beard, and I was so insecure about it. I would like, I would like try to brush the beard hair down in a way to maximize the surface area of every follicle relative to the skin exposed. And
Oh,
now I think
wow.
about it when I see other people, which is pretty dumb because I haven't had a thin beard in a decade. So
Yeah, that kind of thing, it stays with you though at that age. It can never be unseen.
our brains are broken.
They are. Well, each of us has like a history of trauma, and like we all live with the consequences of that.
Yeah. There's like abuse and like abusive parents and stuff. There's having a thin
Yeah,
beard at 16.
just thin beards.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's rough out here.
Having pores, for example.
Yeah. The traumatizing experience of looking
Yes.
a little closely at your skin.
I looked
Um,
at a mirror once and I haven't recovered.
yeah, should be illegal. Uh,
Yeah. It should
I
be. Yeah.
I have to
Smash every
ask,
mirror.
just to pull it back, I guess, to what I've been talking about for the rest of the stream. Have you ever used Planned Parenthood for any of its services? If that's something you don't mind answering.
I actually haven't. I'm again sorry to keep endorsing. Well, actually, I'm not sorry. I keep endorsing Baltimore, but Baltimore has a very, very good, some of the best in the world. I think trans care access. Informed
Oh,
consent clinics. So for that kind of stuff, for hormones and all that, like I don't go to Planned Parenthood. I go to the hospital here, but I know in a lot of cities, Planned Parenthood is the best and sometimes the only option for a lot of different things. It's birth control. It's a lot of trans people get hormones through Planned Parenthood, abortion services, obviously. Um, but yeah, it's in Baltimore. I go to a different clinic, but it's uh, I know for in a lot of cities, Planned Parenthood is the best option.
yeah, it's wild. A lot of people don't, or maybe for this stream didn't know that it offers more than just abortions. It's always associated with
Yes,
abortions. But it
that's
also,
yeah.
yeah, gender care as well. I've seen like multiple trans people in my chat go like, oh my God, I didn't even know. And it's Planned Parenthood. But they've been so effective in associating Planned Parenthood with abortions exclusively that people think it's literally just an abortion clinic that's partially funded by the state when it's there's so many other things.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a loud conservative talking point that I think that they have kind of succeeded in the popular imagination, making Planned Parenthood equals abortion. But yeah, I think that's like less than 10% of what they do.
Yeah. Well, I guess they succeeded. A
Yeah,
little
they're good
unfortunate.
at that. They have a skill. The conservatives, they have a way with media, don't they? Well,
Oh, I should ask you about that. I don't know how much time you have,
mm.
but it feels like it's a good follow-up because the last time I talked to you, I think was right. It was on the 3rd of November. It was during the election process, I think.
Oh, it was that long ago. My God.
Yeah, and we were both pretty pessimistic at the time. Uh,
Yeah.
how do you feel right now about the future?
Well, I feel I don't know. I mean, the future is not gonna be good. I think we just kind of need to face that. But I think it's doing better than it was doing then. So, that's something. I guess it's about progress, and I say that since this time last year, things are looking up a little bit for sure, no doubt.
Yeah, uh, that's a rough sell to an audience, you know? The that
It is, yeah.
trepidation. It's
No,
it's difficult.
well, it is. I mean, I feel like it was helpful. I did this it was like a live stream with Noam Chomsky and I feel like was kind of helpful. I mean, being like less of a complete doomer in that he kept like saying like, well, in the 30s, in the third, like every time I would bring something up, he'd be like, well, and look in the 30s. And it's true that if you compare everything now to the 1930s, everything seems better. So, with the exception of the climate thing, obviously, which is like,
Yeah,
uh,
that one's pretty bad and pretty new.
yeah, although really that's just we now know too much. It's they were already doing climate change in the 30s, they just didn't know yet.
Yeah, they were having fun with it back then. You could taste the
Yeah,
air with the gasoline emissions, you know?
Eden. Yeah. Well, I mean, my mom grew up in Philadelphia. She always tells me, like, as a kid, like there would always be this like black dust on every windowsill because of the coal. Like, so the air quality I think was much worse. But yeah, there's um there's just no it's true that the world's gonna get. I mean, I just visited New York City and like the city is flooded. Um, it's gonna keep getting worse, and the climate thing. Yeah, you could go on a whole apocalypse doom spiral about the climate thing, but it's just not helpful to go on a doom spiral. So it's really a question of like, okay, what do we do? What can we do? That's always the question I try to ask is what's next? How can I help? Like, because if you focus on the doom, you're just making yourself miserable for no real reason.
Yeah, I agree. I think that Chomsky is also touching on a kind of essential point, which is that if you look back through history, I feel
Hmm.
like most people probably died thinking they were like watching the end of whatever it was they cared about. I mean, think of all the cities that have been under siege, sometimes for decades, or like countries falling apart, or monarchies dissolving, empires crumbling. Think of Rome. I mean, how many millions of Roman
Yeah.
citizens must have died thinking, well, glad I got to see the last days of the Roman Empire. For centuries they did this, and then other stuff came up after. So everyone dies miserable. I don't know. It seems like the historical reality is that we have to look past ourselves and believe that society can continue beyond the limited scope from which we see it.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I think like if you look at history, the sense that the apocalypse is nigh is more or less a constant fact of the human condition, and that's not new. And the things that are going on now, plagues, wars, like there's been far worse plagues, there's been far worse wars. So I mean, within the last 120 years there's been far worse plagues and wars. So it's not new, it's just that human life kind of sucks, and like you try to make things better, and that's your job, and
And
that's it. If you're doing that, you're doing fine.
at least now, being gay is legal here,
Yeah, oh,
nominally.
totally.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, it's like there's things that are way better, way
yeah.
better.
We can be more gay now. That's object. I mean, maybe,
Yeah.
it's not perfect now, but there's definitely more gay now, and that's a step forward.
I mean, the even like the trans issue, like I've got to, I mean, and that's something that I have really watched change. You know, as bad as it seems sometimes now, with the media being a little bit obsessed and all the like Guardian trans hating hit pieces and so on. Like
Yeah.
it is just night and day from 15 years ago when trans people. I just watched the show Law and Order SVU.
Yes.
It's not it's kind of propaganda at its worst.
Oh,
But
I'm very familiar. Yeah.
I have a kind of like soft spot for it's like my kind of garbage TV when I shut my brain off. But I just watched this. I was hanging out with a friend of mine who's also a YouTuber, Princess Weeks, and we were watching SVU, and we watched that. There's an episode from 2004 where Shane from the L Word plays a trans woman, and like, oh my god, like Olivia Benson says, the T slur. Uh, we've got like every trope dead naming. Her boyfriend finds out and immediately tries to vomit. Like every single one of these things, and it's like this was didn't no one saw this as a problem in 2004, and
That
that's
episode is younger than the game I'm playing right now. Luigi's Mansion came out 2001.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is like this is the kind of media that this is the kind of trans media that I grew up with. So like it is it's very very drastic. The progress is very rapid. And I think it can be hard to see that when you're focused in the day-to-day like squabbles of social media and of the there's a particularly stupid moment with I think trans people being debated, but like it used to be so universally bad.
It
And it's
wasn't
like
even a
and now
debate
there's yeah.
for the
No, it
longest
wasn't. It
time.
wasn't.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. The fact that it's now a debate is actually as frustrating as it is to be trans and be debated. There didn't. It used to be worse. There was no debate. It was just taken as granted that you did not need to be respected. As a trans person did not need to be respected. So the fact that there's now people publicly defending us is wild.
Yeah, and it seems like a majority too. It seems like a majority of Americans are at least nominally supportive of trans people, which is better than what we had in terms of support for racial integration back when that started happening. I mean, I don't know how sincere that is. Like, I don't think a majority of Americans are like, oh yeah, I would date a trans person. If my child had a trans partner, then I'd be fine. Like, they're probably kind of
Yeah,
lukewarm on this, but that's still way
absolutely.
better. Like the popularity skyrocketed really quickly within like no time at all on that issue.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's analogous to what happened with gay marriage, where, and again, when I was in high school, it was a minority of people who thought that that should be legal. It was very, very strongly opposed. And then, within a decade, it completely flipped. And now, it's kind of like to be against gay marriage is like socially unacceptable in like most circles, I feel, which
Yeah.
is wild. It's wild that that happened within one generation.
Yeah, I don't think we're going back on that. The population's just too in support of it. And that was only 6 years ago. Maybe soon
Absolutely.
trans people will be able to marry.
We could. Where's my wife?
We can only hope. Yeah, maybe soon
Yeah.
you specifically will be able to marry.
Yeah,
If you
that's
update
true.
your Tinder bio to include your video essay making
my,
comments.
my prestigious draw as a video essay is. Yeah, that's true.
Could you ever go after a person who like knew of your content, or is that just an immediate like X, you know?
I actually think it's kind of my only choice because so I mean, dating, like I'm in a really bizarre situation, like kind of almost unique, singular, like because of the combination. Just like there's the internet, like micro celebrity thing. There's being trans. There's being gay. There's I mean, and the fact that like I feel like most trans women in North America know who I am,
Mhm.
uh, and like a lot of like young gay women know who I am too. So it's like it's kind of not. I'm gay famous, So it's like
Within your
finding people,
community,
yeah,
it's yeah. And
exactly.
even if you found a person who didn't really know who you were, they probably have a friend who does. And if they started dating
Yeah,
you, they would be informed by their friend, and the same thing would happen.
exactly. So, so basically, I can't find someone who doesn't, you know, has no idea what I do or who I am. but I could, you know, some people are more or less like weird about it, and like, and not everyone acts like a crazy fan.
Yeah, yeah. There's definitely about 3/4 of these super likes that I get on Tinder. I know for a fact that the nanosecond I accept it, I'm going to get a reference to like a debate of mine
Yeah,
thrown
yeah,
into my DMs. So there's definitely like a varying level of um parasocial engagement from 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 those type of people. But I do understand and respect and sympathize with your misery. At least in my case, my infamy is confined to a sort of online debate brewery space, which has no connection to the real world. Nobody who does this shit goes outside. So it frees me up considerably when it comes to, potentially seeing other people.
yeah. That's good. I think I think the positive side for me too is I think that like a lot of people sort of are aware of who I am, but most people don't look at Twitter. They don't look at the darker side of what we do, like all the, you know, all the parasocial madness and the obsessive hating and there's a lot of weird stuff that most people don't see. I think that if, you know, if you're someone who's a creator, like, and you're looking at Twitter all the time, which is a habit I've kind of gone back to, it's really it's one of my many addictions. It's one of the worst ones. But yeah, it's you get the impression that this is just what everyone thinks of you, and it's like not at all. Like no one looks at Twitter. No one. This is a tiny section of even your own audience,
Yeah.
and so it's like it's totally delusional if you take Twitter too seriously.
You can fix Twitter, you know. All you have to do is when you tweet, never look at the replies or your notifications. Just
Yeah, that's
vomit
it. That's
thoughts
true.
into the void and never engage with them again. It's unironically the best way to engage with the platform.
Absolutely. I think at a certain point you discover that being canceled actually really, especially on Twitter, being canceled only matters as far as you are reading what people are saying about you. The minute you stop that, well, you know, that's all being canceled is most of the time, right? Is people saying things about you. So if you don't look, then it doesn't matter.
True. Solipsism is real. Just the
Yeah.
nat. Yeah, as soon as you can't see it. I saw after the Envy video, there were what were they? Were they tankies? They're the lefties who are mad because all they talk about is like killing the rich, but they don't do anything, and you point that out and
Yeah.
they get mad. Yeah, yeah, they got mad at you, and then and you tweeted about them, and you very wisely deleted it shortly after because it was more attention than they deserved.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
there was a good move on your part. That second bit.
Yeah, this is something that I've learned is, I mean, especially when it comes to these like niche accusations that get thrown around or critiques on Twitter, like if 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 you're responding to that kind of stuff, you're basically putting it on a billboard, whereas it was just previously a whisper. Like Twitter is conversation. Twitter is not like we think this is discourse. These are not articles. These are not you know, big ideas. These are not things that people are seeing. But if you have, you know, hundreds and then you like quote tweet someone criticizing you, now you're the one who's made it so that your whole audience now has seen what the person was saying, whereas no one would have seen it before.
And some
So
of
yeah,
them will
it's
side with them too, the fucking contrarians. Like somebody could tweet
absolutely.
like, this person is literally a neo-Nazi, and you'll quote tweet being like, no, I'm not. That's very silly. And then people will see it and think like, well, wait, hold on. And then all of us,
Yeah.
there are 5 times as many people in the replies to that tweet going like, well, okay, hold, it might have a point on this issue, and then it just magnifies from there. Absolute waste of time. Terrible website.
Yeah, if you respond to it, it's not the entire like then it's now like it could go on trending and people are now like, oh, are you talking about the you know, the Vaush neo-Nazi
Yeah,
accusations?
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Like
the
are you
discourse.
like
Yeah.
yeah, like you've now made it
Uh,
you've now associated these things and you've made it into a thing. So yeah, ignoring it's the only way. Of
fuck.
course, that's like a level. It requires a level of zen that I'm trying to cultivate, but it's not easy.
Yeah, it's not, and I would know. But so I sympathize with the journey. We hit 80,000, by the way. eighty
Oh
thousand
yeah,
dollars, guys. Thank you so much for
we should all be
pulling it
giving to
out.
Planned Parenthood.
Yeah, I
Sorry,
know.
we should be plugging that.
I feel like half of the good being done by this is just informing people that Planned Parenthood doesn't just do abortions. I feel like that might actually be the weightier side of the potential utilitarian, like uptick from whatever comes of this.
Were a lot of people listening like not aware of that?
No, nobody seems to know. Everyone just that every
Really?
time Planned Parenthood comes up, it's abortion this, abortion that. Now, obviously, I am doing this in response to the Texas abortion law, so I suppose to an
Yeah.
extent I'm facilitating that. But yeah, a lot of people don't seem to know that.
No, it's so much. Yeah, they did. So it's a lot of other healthcare. A lot of people I know get birth control through them or hormones. Yeah, like you
Mhm.
said.
Or STI checks, or you can go there and they just
Yeah,
give
yeah.
the condom
Right.
bucket. You can
Exactly.
reach your hand in, just
Exactly.
get whatever.
Yeah, super important.
I don't want to keep you forever. I do
Yeah, I
need.
should go to bed somewhat soon.
Yeah, probably. Keep a good sleep schedule. I do need to point out though that you're not off the hook for the Age of Empires 2 1v1 deathmatch.
Oh
You live
yeah.
on borrowed time, and at any moment I could draw the string tight and end your life in about 20 to 30 minutes, probably while playing as the Spanish.
Okay, well we should definitely do that.
Absolutely. I have to practice. How long has it been
I have to
since you've
practice too.
played?
I will. Oh, it's been so. Well, the last time I tried to stream it once, and I ended up like I was against like three computers set to moderate or something, and like I was like lose. I was also like I was like pretty drunk, and so I was
Can't play that
I
drunk. Those games
I
are
ended up.
hard.
I know. I ended up doing the cheat where like you get the cars, the machine gun cars, and so I ended up just bringing in an army of those
Well,
and winning because I cheated.
well, the judges will not be impressed if that's the approach you take with me.
I promise not to do it unless I'm on the threshold of death.
Um, I um, I really appreciate you coming on. I hope that you continue doing your video game streams because not very many game streamers I like are streaming at that time. It's actually fitted really well into my schedule, so it's been
Oh,
really good for
good.
me. You should keep it up for that reason, if nothing else.
No, that's I'm glad because a lot of people complain that it's too late. But yeah, no, that's as long as you're happy, I'll keep doing it at the crack of midnight.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Thank you, everyone, and yeah, please support Planned Parenthood, a great organization.
My audience says they love you. You probably guessed that. But
All right,
yeah.
love you guys too.
Take care.
Bye.